Hello everybody. The job market in India is right now, if I'm talking about like more qualified jobs or really high paying jobs, it's not good. And let me say it's actually not even close to anywhere being good. And in this scenario, it is up to us to personally focus on ourselves to improve so that we can target and be prepared when the right opportunity arises. And in this video, I want to share with you some of the skills which you should be honing to grow in the corporate world over the next few years and also decades. So let's start with the first and the most important skill set that almost everybody, irrespective of the industry, domain, vertical, horizontal, whatever you might call it, is seeking, is problem solving. Now, I don't want to make this a complicated mumbo jumbo. Problem solving seems like a very hi-fi word, primarily used in business schools or in management consulting strategy discussions. So when I worked at McKinsey, this was a very widely used word. But only after moving out and coming into the startup space, I realized how much problem solving is really important. And what is this problem solving all about? Let's start with a simple example. You walk into a college canteen, and what's your first reaction? Typically, for like 99% of us, we'll say that, hey, the food is really bad. That is a problem mindset. We will identify the problems very quickly in our life. But rather, can we ever think about what do we do to fix this problem? How can we improvise this mess situation? Can we really go ahead and talk to these people? That is the solutioning mindset. One is problem identification, the other one is coming up with a solution. Well, it is very inherent even in this example that coming up with a solution is not very easy and executing it is even more difficult because you need to go talk to the mess owner, you might need to talk to the cooks, and all of them might not be reciprocative, right? So solutioning is a much harder skill, and even thinking about it is the first right thing, and that is what problem solving or solutioning means. And how can you improvise in this skill? Multiple ways. But let me start off with some very simple things. The first one is, according to Times Now report that I was literally reading a few hours back, it said that one of the things that a lot of high IQ people do is continuously think about hard problems. The thinking exercise itself is something we have left long back. If we have a tough problem, now we'll just go and ask ChatGPT. Previously, we were asking Google, now ChatGPT, and what happens next? Our employer will directly go to ChatGPT, right? Rather cutting us out. Don't take the help of ChatGPT. We are not writing any exams, but we need to apply our mind first, come to a certain personal perspective, and then apply ChatGPT on top of that. This thinking forms the entire basis of problem solving. And you need to start that on every single situation that you face. The second element of problem solving comes from reading and talking to a lot of people, understanding different perspectives without being too much judgmental. If you go onto LinkedIn and if you read something, you will say that, hey, this guy is writing it for their own personal branding, or they are writing it with some other purpose. It could be very well be the case, but if it adds value to you, engage with that content. You can even engage with the content that I create on LinkedIn, but you need to do it at least in the domains and the industries where you work. Identify some people who write interesting thoughts, interesting comments, and engage. Again, engagement means adding some value, adding your own perspective to that post, not saying a ChatGPT response of thank you so much, your post adds a lot of value to me. Nope, it is just adding your own point of view. And these conversations, these networks will also help you a lot. And the third thing, according to me, problem solving also means trying to do something by yourself on the sidelines, even if you have a good, high-paying corporate job. And what does this teach you? It will teach you the fundamentals of business, that it is not easy to build something and it is even more difficult to sell something. Even a single pen, you make it and you try to sell it in the market, you will realize how difficult it is. And this is a skill which is very difficult to acquire. So you need to make sure that you are practicing on these three things at the same time. Over here, I want to mention that Scalar School of Business is actually trying to do the exact same thing through their 18-month PG program in management and technology. They have a practical first approach where you work on industry sourced projects and you get the feedback as well from the same set of leaders. Not just that, As part of the curriculum, you will be building your own business end to end, from developing the idea to actually taking it to the market. And if you think about the startup world, one of the biggest challenges is developers or the tech folks need help of the business guys, and the business folks need support from the tech guys. And this ecosystem is permanently broken, and I'm the first-hand victim of that. Now, Scalar School of Business is actually building this collaboration. If you are a business student, you can go and collaborate with Scalar School of Technology's Innovation Lab or directly work with the students themselves so that you can bring the product to life much faster way. Their curriculum is developed and delivered by industry leaders who have scaled large businesses. For example, Uber India's founding leader. Scalar has been a leading name in the industry for the last 10 years and have 1300 plus placement partners. Applications are now open and you can be eligible for up to 100% scholarship. You can check about their program from the link in the description box. The second skill that I want to talk about is domain expertise. And what does domain expertise mean? It doesn't mean you go and do PhD in something. No, not necessarily. But you having that 360-degree perspective of the topic that you know. And why is this domain expertise important? If you remember, the first point that we talked about is the number of high-paying and good jobs is decreasing, but it is not zero. So if you want to target those good and high-paying jobs, you need to show that you are in the top 1 percentile of the folks who are in that specific field. And for that, you need to strengthen your resume, you need to read, and you need to finally do projects in the same space. This domain expertise does not happen over like 1 month or 2 months. It will take years, if not decades. But this will add up. Remember, 10-15 years from now, nobody will be asking you questions about, hey, can you write this piece of code? They will be asking you questions about, hey, why are you writing this piece of code? How will this impact the customer? And what is the relevance of this code to the broader thing that you are doing in the project? These are the questions, and you cannot ask them if you don't have the expertise to the next level at a domain level. Domain means it could be the industry, it could be the function, let's say marketing or sales or operations, right? So this fundamental pillar can also give you that right push. The third skill, which will again help you move forward quite a bit in your career, is networking. And what do I mean by networking here? You might say that, hey Pavan, networking is very simple, talking to people, but I don't have enough time. I'm already doing a lot of work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. How will I find time to talk to others? Forget about LinkedIn. I don't even have time to talk to my own company people. This is a fact. I'm not saying that, hey, this is an easy thing to do, but all I'm saying is it is an important thing to do. And the reason is straightforward. A lot of jobs going forward are not going to come through LinkedIn or Naukri or any of these channels. For you, these jobs are going to come through referrals the more and more you spend time in the industry. Because as a fresher, you are sitting in the campus placement or you are going to these mass recruitment drives. Over there, people will just look at your resume and give you a call, and they'll probably take the interview and you are selected. But after a few years of experience, there are no more mass recruitments for cloud architect or some senior level expert people. It is all through the trust and the network that comes along with it. And this network can be built not necessarily just on LinkedIn. It can be built even when you talk to your folks in your office itself, because they might not be your friends at that point in time, but they will become friends once they leave office or you leave office. I mean, you leave the company for good. And at that point in time, assume that they are building a team within their company or you are building a team in your company. The exchange of human resources happen a lot. And this is primarily driven through networking. And so please do not ignore the networking angle that comes within the entire office ecosystem itself. I know individuals, when they leave companies and move on to new companies, they just hire their entire team from the previous organization. And this is not a rare phenomenon. This is a very common phenomenon. The fourth skill that I want to highlight is the combination of the technology and the managerial skill. Now, this is the go-to thing in the market right now. Let me share one example, right? In 2019, 2020, during that COVID period, the entire market was like buzzing with edutech companies, education tech companies, because a lot of people were moving to study online because of COVID. And these edutech companies were offering that, and they were revolutionizing how education was taught. So a lot of money went into the edutech industry as such. In 21, 22, 23, a bit of that wave moved towards sustainability and then also into crypto. Sustainability is still there, by the way. Crypto died down. But in 2024 now, in 2023 as well, to a large extent, the wave has completely shifted. Whether it is edutech industry or whether it is finance tech, like companies like Paytm, or even it is sustainability tech, doesn't matter. All of them are being enabled by AI. Now, AI is not even compared with like some of the fundamental innovations like electricity. It is being even compared with fire, the level of innovation that is happening. So you need to understand whether you are a business student or a commerce student or somebody who has arts or majors in music, doesn't matter. You need to have that spike in technology, specifically AI. Now you might ask, hey Pavan, AI itself is a vast subject. How do I learn? Where do I get started? One of the easiest places for you to get started would be, if you are in marketing, see what is happening in marketing tech. If you are in sustainability, see what's happening in sustainability tech with AI. Now, these independent tech integrations within your domain will help you understand what are some of the tools that you should be learning. These tools will be easy for you, not necessarily for me or somebody else who is watching this video, because they might not have your domain expertise. So for you, you need to see what is the closest field for you and what are the closest AI tools that are being applied in that space. For example, somebody working in customer support. The customer support itself is getting automated. That doesn't mean they leave customer support completely and move into some other field. The first starting step should be at least learning customer support or the AI tools that are coming on to replace the human capital, so that you are slowly moving along with taking your advantages of your own expertise in that domain. So do not ignore this combination of tech plus management or business background in your overall resume. End of the day, businesses are trying to take advantage because of the AI wave. That is simple. In other words, it's called as leveraging something so that they can make more profits. Similarly, in your profile and your resume as well, you need to leverage this AI to grow fast in your career. Now, just taking a step back, these 4 skills are pretty straightforward to go ahead and get it. One of the fundamental things that you need is number 1, spending time on a continuous basis to achieve or to learn these skills. And how do you get that time? Absolutely, there is no magic formula over here. Just like how you need to dedicate 1 hour of your time morning or in the evening to go to gym, you need to dedicate 15 minutes of your time every day for upskilling across these dimensions. It might not show you results in the next quarter itself, but these things add up very soon. Look at any influencer on the internet. These guys are not great intellectual souls. The reason you follow them is because they have acquired this knowledge over time, and that cumulative knowledge is what impresses you right now. And for you to do the same way, you just need to spend some time. So go ahead, start spending that time, and the knowledge acquisition will eventually happen. Every day 15 minutes is how you build your body muscle or your mental muscle. And the second thing that can happen is none of these skills are difficult to acquire. But what is more difficult is to keep that motivation level to acquire these skills on a daily basis. And one thing that can help you a lot is a group accountability. If you have a small group of 3 to 4 people who are accountable for each other's success and also each other's actions, execution becomes a lot more easier. And once you start executing, you will realize the benefits sooner rather than later. I hope these 4 skills make sense to you. Problem solving, then domain expertise, then people, networking skills, and finally, the combination of technology and management helping you grow in your career. See you again in the next one. Bye-bye.